An arrogant slaughterer and swordmaster supreme, Lucius seeks out the most skilled enemy champions to find worthy opponents. His curse has seen him return from death many times, each resurrection leaving him more hollow, but compelled to become greater still. Lucius the Eternal is the newest legendary hero coming to Tacticus from the 10th of August onwards. You will also have the opportunity to get a first taste of his skill set by playing the survival event starting on the 3rd of August to properly hype you up. It's the Slanesh way. As appearances are very important to the disciples of the youngest Chaos God, let's look at them first. I'm a bit torn between too much going on his model or actually liking the effects. It's probably appropriate to be overwhelmed by his magnificence. Lucius' armor is decorated with the screaming souls of his victims. Well, to be exact, those are the people that killed him and were overtaken by his presence later. As every opponent that feels pride killing him winds up being his newest host. There's just so many holes in this, and I don't think such an excellent fighter should be dying that much. The other Chaos Champions don't do that either after all. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Lucius death is. I like the tongues coming from his armor. This is such a fun idea, although I'd love them to glisten a bit more, like his bald head does. If you want to follow me into a realm of pleasures untold by watching my future videos, please subscribe to my channel to keep up with the news. You can also support me by using my friend code BAD60ADU for 100 Blackstone to fuel your excesses and rewards depending on level milestones you reach for me. Let's look at Lucius' kit. I scaled his stats down to a Gold 1 and Epic 1 character, which might be a bit curious, but I always see Gold 1 as a good level a lot of people can get their characters to easily enough, and I want my character reviews to be comparable. Lucius has the 41st most health of all 96 characters in game as of now, a stat he shares with a lot of characters like Karn, Thoth or Vitruvius. Karn might be the best comparison, as Lucius' armor stat is in place 40, which is the same as Ulf and Karn, so you can judge how hardy he is. He has pretty decent defenses, and his parry trait additionally helps reduce the hits of close combat attacks against him. The trick is, you actually want Lucius to die. On your terms, of course. His passive, Armor of Shrieking Souls, means that every enemy killing Lucius becomes elated and will lose a flat amount of health every turn. Comparing the ability damage at level 35 to the appropriate Gold 1 Epic 1 character as average health means that this effect will take around 4.2 rounds to kill the average enemy. As this damage is direct damage, it will work quite well against high armored characters. When that enemy then dies, Lucius will be revived in its place. If the ability is up to level, it will pretty much revive Lucius with full health. Healing the opponent will not remove the elation effect from him, and it doesn't matter from which source the killing blow came. This can happen multiple times per game even. By playing against guild raid bosses, this will not be worth much. This ability could be a nightmare in PvP modes like Arena or Tournament Arena, especially when paired with a hardy character like Maladus, Angrax or Rodbrone, who will hold out until Lucius has come back. Lucius can hurt you in other ways than dying too. He's quite fast at 4 hexes and has 6 hits of power damage. Of course, with that many hits, the individual damage is pretty low, only reaching to spot 81 out of 96. He can be compared with Anshi, who has the same damage type and damage, but only 5 hits instead of 6. Against no armor, Lucius comes in place 22, just behind Maladus. Against infinite armor, he goes up to place 19, pretty much matching Maladus again, and just above Jäger and Celestine, so he can definitely do some decent damage. His kit includes a crit booster, crit item, and a block item, so the standard kit of most heroes. Lucius features a new trait as well, Thrill Seeker, which will probably be the Emperor's Children's faction trait. It sees Lucius' crit chance increase by 15% for 1 round whenever he's damaged or attacks an enemy with full health. You can see in the video that the effect applies before the attack. It would be pretty useless otherwise. Whenever killing an enemy with a crit, that enemy will also always be overkilled. Not too interesting for Lucius himself with the amount of hits he brings, but it might be a good effect for further Emperor's Children. Lucius' active sees him finally use his impressive tongue whip in Lash of Torment, which does 6 eviscerating hits to an enemy in range 2, and pulls that enemy he hit towards him to then taunt him, the duration of which is dependent on the ability level. When the opponent was adjacent to begin with, he of course also becomes taunted. The taunt can effectively force an enemy to kill you when you're low on health to resurrect soon, especially effective if the taunted opponent is close to death himself. Using it on high armor enemies to get them elated by sacrificing Lucius could be worthwhile too. The attack itself does pretty much the same damage as a normal attack at the same level, but the eviscerating damage has a 50% PS ratio instead of 40%. The reach of his active combined with Lucius' speed makes it easy to reach the enemies you want to target. You can use it, for example, to neuter strong ranged units, as Lucius will pull them towards him, forcing them to attack with the weaker melee attacks, which will especially hurt the damage as Lucius' parry trait will eliminate one of the melee attack's hits. Lucius is the first Chaos parry character, so he will only work in the No Xenos track of legendary release events. So he's not necessary for that, but useful with the only 8 characters available. Thrill Seekers will probably become a new legendary release trait at some point, as I'm not sure if we'll ever get an Emperor's Child without Thrill Seekers. Maybe Fabius Bile, as he's rather scientifically perverse than just hedonistic. I'm not sure. Eviscerate in No Imperium tracks now has 6 characters, and 4 characters in the No Xenos track, so Lucius could be quite precious for both. Power is still pretty ubiquitous, the rarest in the No Imperium track, where Lucius will be 1 out of 9. Minimum 6 hits though is pretty rare, and can thanks to Lucius now be done without Xenos. He also pads out the minimum 6 hits in No Imperium tracks, where at 6 characters we could at least get some choice now. So by no means the most important character due to the low amount of requirements he fulfills, Lucius fills out some pretty niche ones, and with his passive working indefinitely, he will be very survivable, as long as one other member of the team still lives. So he will be really good at survival and legendary release events, I reckon. If you want to see more on the news, like a video on the new Imperial character Atlakoya, or general news on what's happening with the 1.30 update, you can watch them here. I talk about the effects of including a new faction with their faction upgrades implemented into the elite campaigns there as well. I'll see you in the next one. Have an exquisite day.